we'll be having our second topic for today, which is big dreams made from smaller pieces. So, turning no's into yeses to help along our career journey. And this topic is based on our guest's uh, co authored book, The Change, which is Insights into Self Empowerment. And our second guest speaker is Mr. Greg Mester, which is the president, Idea Communications Network, and podcast host on 5 a.m. Mester Scrum show. So, Mr. Greg Mester was recently live at the Product Owner Summit 2024 in April. So, professional product owner career, what might that look like? So, also, Brigmaster is a transformational leader and expertly bridging the gap between complex ideas and actionable solutions and driving teams towards unprecedented success in agile environments. And also an agile cheerleader, mentor, coach, keynote speaker, and entrepreneur, earning 20 plus certifications as well as bachelor's and master's degrees, and has survived and thrived in change with 80 job changes. Uh, Also, in 1999, Greg started his first business um, in 2000, and he discovered Agile and Scrum, which he used to save $1 million programs and doubled his salary with yeses to job changes in a few years. And without further ado, we have here Mr. Greg Mester to present the second topic.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Great to be here. That was an interesting topic prior, so that was really good. Um, and it may lead into some of the things we talk about here. So,
Mhm.
so life's good. Business. I had billboards on 95, all big, shiny. Everything was going awesome. And then rapid change happened. Looking for loose change to buy lunch for that
Mm.
week. So I go from billboards to finding pennies on the ground to pay for my lunch. I Just before that, I was a fresh kid out of college. I broke down what it would take to get out of mechanical engineering in 4 years. Graduated in a down year of engineers. Hundreds of resumes went out. I know some of my coworkers were in the newspapers, and I'm like, I'm not telling you how many resumes I put out that time. And
Mm.
so I went back to the basics. I went back to working in machine shops. I even sold perfume door to door. I got a lot of
Mm.
no's, got a couple yeses, so I learned how to survive with a lot of no's going that door to door. Can you imagine a 20-year-old
Yeah.
guy just going door to door selling perfume? It was amazing. Then I landed that next engineering job. I kept contact with some old college friends, and so connections are very important. And I definitely make sure people connect with me if they're interested. But she helped me land my first engineering job. I got that job because of the machine shop experience I had while I was waiting for that job. I took advantage of little things, learning little things, because I was the only one that had any experience in a machine shop. And then, I joined making money. We traveled, did things, went out fishing around the Gulf of Mexico. It was great. But as I went while I was working there, I leveled up my knowledge. Um, my company offered a tuition reimbursement, but they only paid for 3 courses a year. I could have said no, but I said yes to myself and invested for that extra 2 years so I can graduate on time with my master's. It could have been an easy no. I even had a coworker say to me, "What did I do to deserve?" He was telling me, "What did I do to deserve that benefit?" I'm like, "I'm going to take it. I take advantage of it." And there's a little diploma from my great grandmother from 1897 from when she graduated from high school. So I use that as inspiration. If she could do it in 1897, I could do it now. There's nothing, and nothing prevents anybody on this conversation to achieve big goals. But you got to start somewhere, right? You got to get that high school degree. You got to keep moving. I had an opportunity to say yes while I was there. I had an offer to. There was a rotation, 6 months with the new jet fighter for the Navy Department. In my mind, I had lots of no's. It was in Washington, D.C. There were plenty of people, engineers that were above me, that were better than me, that could take the job. So it's kind of going back to what she just had talked about, Rosalind just talked about. And I was in the middle of my master's program. I could have said no, but I said yes, even though I had to travel every day from Washington, D.C. back to Philadelphia to take my classes and do both. But I ended up helping assemble the E&F jet fighter program for the new LRIP contract. And you can see the picture here. Got to see first flight of a brand new aircraft that never existed before. So I got to participate on that. So I could have missed on all those great stories. And I could write a book of all the stories from that adventure. And then came back to Earth. I went back to my old job, meet with customers around the world to learn their pain points. And sometimes timing is perfect. And I partnered with Georgia Tech. We built something from nothing in 6 months. Quote from one of my competition peoples: "You did what no one else in the room did. You actually built something." They wrote specs, they had dreams, but they didn't actually build anything. And you can see the one picture of me. I'm there in the bottom with the air out in the field, seeing what the life was like for the product that we had. And we ended up winning another $10 million for our production and development. And actually ended up presenting to the Undersecretary of the Navy as a little tiny GS-12 engineer. So these are the kind of things that if you said no, I would never have got that, right? What's next? I realized it would take me years to come up in the corporation to government. So I slid into my own business. I love Philadelphia and all the things that had to do. I built my first business. I grew to 30,000 and 60,000 hits a month. And this isn't the flip phone days. This isn't the modern days. This is back then. I was getting that much a month. I
Wow.
had the billboards on 95, right? So I finally left my nice job. So now I got my company. It's running good, and I finally got it. Then all of a sudden, 9/11. Within 2 years, 9/11 happened. I saw 60,000 hits go down to zero. I mean, literally looking at the metrics, I go, oh God, we all have to get jobs. We're done. But I got some side jobs, little jobs here and there to cover my business debt, because when you have a company, you're still obligated to pay your debt. I even crawled around in the belly of UPS airplanes during the holiday rush. If you ever know anything about the States during the holiday rush, UPS and all, they're busy, busy, busy. So I took side jobs to pay for that. My earnings paid my credit cards and kept my mortgage afloat a little bit, but I would actually walk through the neighborhood movie theater. This is when we had change. It was on all credit cards. And I would look for loose change just to pay for lunch that week. Back then, it didn't cost much money to buy lunch. Thank God that the it wasn't so expensive. But I did that for a while, for a couple months, 6 months probably. And then an opportunity came again. An old partner from Georgia Tech again, staying connected with people you worked with in the past. Hey, Greg, I need help with getting funds from a client in California. And I said, you would be going out to California for 6 months to help him. I said, I could have said no. I mean, it's only in California. I'm on the East Coast, Philadelphia. His is all the way over in California. I could have said no. But I said yes, and off I went. I ended up becoming a program manager for the Bradley fighting vehicle. Never worked with Army vehicles ever before. It was always Navy, aircraft, stuff like that. Now I'm working with armored vehicles. But lots of things came to come. The most important yes ever, I met my wife, got married out in California. I transferred back to the East Coast to support the production plan, as you can see some pictures in there. And I learned things about these things called agile and Scrum. Even when I was in California, they didn't ever mention agile and Scrum. It wasn't until I came to the East Coast that and I was in the Bay Area. And I learned about making things smaller, and one of the other things I thought in the future, my next move, in case I had to go back to California to go with the other family, my wife's family, I wanted to make sure I knew software. So I started that journey into the software world. Now I started rebuilding my business. But before that, I was doing contract roles. So I was putting jobs out there, putting my name out there. And I had this one interview with an executive. And he says, I'm looking for someone more well-known. That's a no, right? That's a big no. You're not well-known enough. So what did I do? I started this time. I started my business back up. This time I'm coaching and consulting, starting with 15-minute videos on Agile and Scrum, and I made some fun videos with my kids. I ended up getting 14 million views with the help of my son, who's in that picture. That I think that video got like 13 some odd million views, and I've done 1,100 plus shows, have over 14,000 connections in LinkedIn. So I based on that, no, I took it and ran with it. Right, I didn't let it stop me. And then you figure out you're going to build from big pieces. You get those no's, turn them into smaller pieces. So turning no's into yeses to help your career along. There's SWOT solutions. I have 3 applied concepts, right? One is turning no's into smaller, easy yeses for people to digest, and I'll give you some examples. Saying yes to your own career growth and transforming your mindset, as we spoke about earlier, from with small yeses to achieve those bigger goals. So once you start, you got to say, I can take these small steps so that I can grow. Things look scary. You got these big no's, everything's scary. So you turn these big no's into smaller yeses. You and your team must work for the yes and not depend on others. Like I had to work door-to-door sales for the perfume stuff, but you got to work hard on it. You got to leverage a yes to make even more yeses. So when you do get a yes, you leverage that yes to get more yeses in the future. Keep it small and simple and understand the customer's capabilities. If you have a customer that tells you, I only have approval rate for $10,000 for a bill, don't give them a bill for $12,000. Keep it at $9,000 so it gets through the process quicker. You might think you want to build that big book, but they'll tell you what their limits are. Listen to the customer. Make it smaller so they can give you that yes without having to go all the way up to the CEO of the company to prove what they're going to do business with you. And sometimes no's are code words for time to move on to new opportunities to say yes. I had one executive VP delivered everything on time, first time ever, everything else in the programs, they're all like a month, 6 months, a year behind schedule. But we delivered on time in this big delivery, and the executive came back to me. Great, you got all this, but we're not going to ever do that again. I'm like, why would I want to work in a place where everything's late? Why wouldn't I want to be on time? So that no he gave me was the energy I needed to go find yes someplace else. So sometimes those no's turn into yeses. Breaking things into small pieces. I talked about that specification. I didn't give a big giant spec to the engineers that needed to prove it. I took out the little tiny missing pieces that still needed approval, and I would hand them individually to the engineers scattered across the country. That way they get overwhelmed and they can approve or make the little modification that I didn't overwhelm them with so much stuff. And then like baking, if you get a big budget, sometimes you got to break them into smaller budgets, going on more than one thing. And what I would do, it may create a little more admin work, but this way people don't want to take your money. That was one of the biggest problems. I had my one boss would go to Detroit every time he talked to the Army, and he'd come back with $5 million less. I'm like, what are you doing? So next time we did this round, I broke it up in 6 different contracts. So it wasn't one big $30 million contract, but these smaller $5 million contracts, and they left it alone. So sometimes making those smaller amounts make it easier for you to keep what you need to do. You just have to work a little harder. And then saying yes to your own growth. Never pass up free or discounted training like I did one of my things. It's if you ever listen to Alex Ramones, he always talks about invest in yourself if you can do it. Do what you can to fit a yes, and even if it's tough. Think long term. I got my master's degree back in 1990. I got 30 years? 30 years of benefit out of that, right? And then say yes to unknown opportunities that you can figure out later. There's a picture on there of the device that we had built from scratch that didn't exist. I had a 6-page spec that I created, and we made that from a big cube down to something the size of a cell phone or a credit card. And in that, we got a call from one of the admins from Admiral, and they asked, "We got $700,000. Do you want it?" My intern was like, "What do we do? We don't know." I said, "Take the money. We'll figure it out. We don't know where we're going to spend it yet, but we'll figure it out." And yeah, and I'm going to give you one other thing for your own growth. Say yes to the freedom of owning your own insurance policy. So many people are so scared to leave where they're at or figure out what they want to do or switch to another job because of the benefits. Go online, find out your benefits, get life insurance, get health insurance, or at least know how to do it. I've had my own life insurance for 14 years now, so I don't worry about that. And health insurance, you never know. Making a plan to learn from others every year. Go to a conference. These are a couple examples. Some of the books I've read over time. You got 10x Rule, U2 Squared, Magic, You're Born Rich, Think and Grow Rich, kind of think Atomic Habits. Learn from others while you can. Don't wait until you're in a stuck point. You never know what your future is going to go or a corporation has in store for you. Look at all the people that have been laid off recently. Thinking, oh, everything's great. Always enrich yourself and your knowledge. I had some product owners that worked under one company. The CIO asked me, what can they do? I said, well, they can take this class and this class. Their response were, we're too busy. We know everything we need to know. And then within a year and a half, that company got acquired, right? And they laid off their whole entire IT staff. Now, the ones who took the classes had certs on their resume. They can take it out. They had all that. But those that didn't do it had nothing. How does anybody know, like from a third party representative, what experience you have? The certs are really good. Look at me. I got all these certs. There's a bunch of them all listed down there. I don't even think that's all of them, but there's a lot of them. And every year I would just take another cert. Plan for it. Put budget in your budget for your year. Put a little bit of money. Go to a conference. They just had a conference in Louisiana. I think there's another conference in Dallas for those who are in the agile world. But go to your conference for your business and go find out more about it. And then lastly, transform your mindset with small yeses. 3 little things that I got from reading all those books from millionaires and billionaires. Every day be thankful. Write down some goals. Get a coach or a mentor in areas that you may not be too familiar with, or a coach just to get through the mindset changes. Say yes to that. Join mastermind groups. I offer one, but the mastermind group helps you expand your mind to solutions to problems you have. They may not give you the solution right then, but you're feeding off all these other people in the room to get these answers and these solutions, and it helps out in a big way. And then here's some tips. Here's something I do. I got a little picture over here of me recording every day from Atomic Habits. It's good to establish good habits. So I got my own 5 habits I do every morning and just share them with you. Every day I write 10 things I'm thankful for. There's a good book out there called The Magic. They got a 28-day program. If you did every one of those, you find 28 different ways to be thankful in your life, and it is really a mind opener. So if you're worried about stuff, look at that. And then I actually write 2 versions of my goals. One, I have a super lifetime goal, like where do I want to be in 20 years? And then I have a short 6-month, 1-year goals. I write simple little bullet numbers. I'm an engineer. You write little things, right? PowerPoints, right? And then I write long form and just write it out. So it's programmed in my mind. And then I also write on I write down things that I'm not doing to remind myself. Like if I'm not out there working out or going for walks every day or doing my sit-ups or whatever, I write, Greg, you didn't do your sit-ups today. Just writing that in your diary book just to remind you so the next day, yeah, I didn't do that, did I? And then write down what you're going to do in the next few weeks. Some of my mentors recommend, dates. Dates motivate and hold us accountable. So put a little bit in the book. Say, hey, over next week I want to have this done on this date, this done on that date, and use those dates to motivate you. And then the last thing is I look at all those things on those books and I prioritize the things I want to do in the day that I can say yes to. I look at them. What can I say yes to and what I'm going to do today? And do that before anybody else starts pinging you with emails, right? And then lastly, I just want to share this with you. Forgiveness. Make sure you can't move on without being forgive yourself, and forgiveness opens doors to yeses in the future. If you can't learn to forgive, you'll be stuck in the past. You'll with all these no's, can't do this fail. Face it, we all make mistakes. Um, Saying yes is an exponential way of growth. Like making mistakes is a way of saying yes. Sometimes the mistakes you make will hurt others and create no's, right? So you need to forgive yourself for causing those barriers, and also have a chance to talk to them. One of the things I wrote down for one of my mastermind groups is at the bottom. I forgive myself for the mistakes I have made, and I also forgive others who have hurt me in the past, so I can move on to the future with a clean slate. It's so important to forgive. And I'll just say, the other day I made a big mistake. I overcommitted. Wanted to go to this boating thing out in the ocean with some friends, family of mine, and I just overcommitted. I called. I said, "Look, I'm sorry. I overdid it, and prioritize the things." And you have to learn to forgive yourself. I was eating me up, but I had to forgive myself for the mistake. They forgave me as well for making that change in schedule, but everything was good, right? So it makes everything much better. And then if you want to connect, I got a barcode here. You can join our mailing list, get stuff. You get a free copy of my book in PDF version. If you want to join us, you want to learn about getting out there and presenting and meeting your goals, got all kinds of ways of doing it, social media, a Slack group. And then you can get a hold of me anyway. I'm on all the social media, as you can see. If you're in a company, if your company's not posting like 50 times a day, as Gary Vee would say, then you're not doing enough. Me, I'm on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and podcasts everywhere. So if you can't find me, let me know. But go ahead and reach out to me on LinkedIn if you like, connect. We can talk more if you need a coach or mentor. Be happy, or you want to experience a mastermind group. You can come join ours and find out what it's like. And that's what I have.
Uh, that's really great. Like it's bits of your story, but it's very impactful. Like it's really the full journey. Like I was trying to try like asking something in my mind, and then in the next slide it answers like you're answering. Like you have definitely shared a few turning points in your career, but you're able to overcome it, and that's because of uh, the the conversion to yeses that
Yeah, and making them small. Those big things that you're saying, the big no's in the world. Okay, let's break it down to small. How can I get my yes to build up to answer that no, right?
yeah, definitely. So that's very timely because there's a lot of generations right now. Like it's something that they uh they get angry or very very sad if like they are being deprived of some few things. It's just that they didn't know how to slowly
Yeah.
get those things, yeah, just
And that's the
with
key
a
about
simple
that forgiveness part. Forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. I ended up picking pennies out of the street for a
yeah.
while. So, you make mistakes, things happen, things out of your control. Got to forgive the universe, and forgive yourself, and you'll do fine.
Very true. So like I experienced same kind, which I was like ejected from the company, but it was not totally my fault. I was just being involved in one way or another, just like the word of mouth that I was involved in some few violations of the company. Then I was ejected, so I thought I could never work it out, but yes, it's really true. It's a matter of perception and also telling yourself that you can still do it.
Yep. And move on past it and grow past it, right? Like you
Yeah.
did.
So, yeah, please promote anything upcoming in your where can they access some of your works? Do you have a website and
Yeah, I got the website. I can share the screen again. So you can get me anywhere at 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. So you can
mhm.
find me there if you like. Also, if you want to, you can scan the QR code, and that'll get you right into our mailing list. And if you join the mailing list, and if you have problems, just send me a note on LinkedIn. I can send you a direct downloadable copy of the PDF. And then the beautiful thing about the book, there's 20 other change agents with 20 other different stories in the book. So it's not just me. The pleasure is that I'm with all these other people. So it's not a boring read of just Greg Mester, what's he got to say. But there's all these other people that are in this book that wrote to it and added to it. It's very diverse. I mean, it's the most diverse book I've ever been with. So it's pretty cool. And again, if you need to, you can reach out. If you see a Greg Mester on LinkedIn, just look for the Agile Cheerleader. That would be me. You see the little icon. I drew a little cartoon of myself. So you can find me there, and more than happy to help you if anybody needs any help or connect. I got 14,000 connections. So if you're looking for jobs, I'm the one you want to connect with, because then you get all these other second level connections. Oh, Greg Mester. How does what did you do? And if anybody wanted to do interviews or anything, I do interviews for my show. We do a meetup. If you got something you want to present and share with everyone that you think other people in the community can, I think of everyone that presents as a change agent, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, it's the best thing. Like sharing your personal perspective and experiences, definitely is a great thing. Uh, yeah, because here in the Let Us Talk at Zipners, we actually think that information you can just type it in Google or whatever browser you have, then you can get it. But definitely the value comes from the experience of a seasoned professional, like what you have shared today, like the journey and how you have come to the present right now. And it's not simple. Like you've been through pieces of nose, and you have worked your way out of it by yeah, definitely turning
Okay.
things into small yeses. So such a great topic that we have experienced today as well, in today's Zipinar. So we are almost at the end of today's session, and yeah, again, if you wish to connect with Greg, just check on LinkedIn, type his name, or you can visit on the website posted on the screen. And this recorded session will be uploaded on YouTube as well, so you can